Hey, what's up, Commanders fans and Redskins fans and Washington football team fans? I know not all of us have gotten used to the new name yet, but I still got the Redskins shirt on, so it is what it is. A
It's
little bit of news
acceptable.
this week. What?
Oh, I said it's acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, really, at this point, if you support the team, I mean, any name should be fine. I hate the
Absolutely.
people that just shit on the Commanders name. It's like,
Right.
yeah, none of us were that happy about it, but like, if you support the team, you got to do that. It's the way it
Sure.
goes.
Absolutely.
But not a whole lot of news this week. A couple of re-signings. We re-signed cornerback Danny Johnson.
Yep.
He appeared in 12 games, recording 20 tackles, 2 passes defensed, and a forced fumble in 2020. Johnson appeared in 14 games as a returner. He had a career-high 26 kick returns for 573 yards.
Yep.
And we also re-signed offensive tackle Cornelius Lucas to a 2-year contract worth $8.2 million, per Ian Rappaport. He had appeared in 29 games over the past 2 seasons with Washington with 15 starts.
Yep. So both good signings. Danny Johnson projected to be probably the third or fourth corner after St. Just or before St. Just, and Cornelius Lucas, obviously a solid swing tackle or occasional starter if you need him to step in. Both good moves. They also got former Carolina Panther defensive end Effie Obata,
Oh,
who
look,
has spent.
another former Carolina Panther.
Yeah, yeah, he got him. He got, in the words of the famous DJ Khaled, another one. He got another one. In 3 years with Carolina, he played in 42 games, had 62 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. And the interception actually came in his first ever NFL game back in 2018 when Ron was coaching there, and helped him win NFC Player of the Year awards that week. And last year he played with the Bills, the Buffalo Bills. He finished the season with 3.5 sacks, 12 tackles. So pretty much just like a rotational backup player. Going to add some
Hmm.
depth to the defensive line to help offset the loss of Settle and Ioannidis.
Right.
Interesting story about him is his backgrounds makes him kind of like an interesting guy to cheer for, because he and his sister were homeless when they first arrived in London, and they bounced around to 10 different foster homes, and he actually didn't even play any football until I think he was in college. He hadn't even played any
Wow.
American football, so just the fact that he's even on an NFL roster, pretty impressive. So
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know that. Wow.
yeah, I guess him and his sister were like, they grew up in Nigeria, and I guess they were like the victims of human trafficking, and they got like
Oh,
they ended up
Jesus Christ.
yeah. So definitely, a guy that is, I'd say likable, and
Yeah, I
he
mean, I'm
came
definitely
over,
rooting for his success then.
yeah,
That's
and he came over and he said that he's like Ron is the only guy I'd want to play for. He's like so excited to be reunited with Ron, so
hell
hopefully he
yeah.
can do
Well,
some
that's
good
awesome.
things for us.
It
Yeah,
does get a little annoying seeing these constant Carolina re-signs,
yeah.
but yeah.
I
But I
like it
mean,
when
good
they
for
work
him.
out, though. I mean, like if Curtis
That's
Samuel
true.
works out, that could be a good one. I mean, I
Yeah,
like the
if.
I like the thicker Joey Sly.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah. The Thicker. I like that.
yeah,
I like that name. The Thicker, because he's
yeah,
fucking giant for a
yeah,
kicker.
yeah. Yeah, fucking plays outside linebacker if you need him to in a pinch. If Jamin Davis
Absolutely.
doesn't work out, just move Joey Sly to linebacker. And yeah, I think is that everybody they re-signed this week? I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the major news. There, not a whole lot to cover this week.
Yeah,
We were going to quickly go over because there was something we saw last week. I think about the Browns having
yeah.
31 or 32 starting quarterbacks
It'll
since
be
2000
32
or so.
with either Deshaun, or if Deshaun winds up not starting, Jacoby Brissett. So either way, they'll
Right,
have a
right.
32nd starter because it won't be Baker.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
I remember I had at one point said like, well, I'm pretty sure Washington has had close to the same, not quite as many, but a lot. So there's a list here we were quickly gonna cover here.
join us on the journey.
Yeah, on the journey. And what's funny here too is I'm a Washington fan, and David's a Niners fan. So technically, I should know more of these than him. But like,
Yeah,
there's at least a couple. Also, when you're kids, you don't pay attention as much. But like,
yeah,
there's a couple names on here that I have no record. Like Brad Johnson, that's the
hmm,
starter from '99 to 2000. I
yep,
remember him.
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
Gus Farrat from like this is
yeah,
before 2000, but like this is like
yeah,
96,
yep,
97. I
yep,
remember him.
Gus.
But like Jeff George in 2000,
Yeah.
2001, I don't remember that dude at all.
Yeah. So like let's give it up to Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson, who retired in 2009. Super Bowl winner Brad Johnson with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did hold a 17-10 record with Washington. That's going to be notable because a lot of guys that left Washington as quarterbacks didn't have a winning record. Jeff
Yeah.
George was acquired. He was a big-time free agent acquisition. Over the course of 2 years, started 7 games, didn't do shit. 1-6. Lame-ass Jeff George. Had, $1 million arm, 10-cent brain. Tony Banks, starter in 2001 because Jeff George pretty much was, a quitter. And
Jeff George sounds like our Giovanni Carmazzi.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Not as bad because that was worse,
Yeah,
but
except you guys didn't draft Jeff George. Jeff George got drafted by the Colts first overall back in the early 90s. So he was Jeff George you guys got late in his career. Tony Banks, really his most notable stuff was starting with you guys. He started with the Cowboys a little bit too. Really didn't do shit beyond that. 2002, the era of Steve Spurrier started, and he loaded up on former Florida quarterbacks with Shane Matthews, who started 7 games, Danny Werfel, who started 4, and then first-round draft pick out of Tulane, Patrick Ramsey, starting 5. And that's
I definitely remember Patrick Ramsey. That's one I definitely remember,
yeah.
obviously.
Because he was a first-round pick, he was supposed to be, he was supposed to be the
Yeah.
shit.
Oh God,
And then,
terrible, fucking terrible.
Over 24 career starts with Washington, Patrick Ramsey was 10-14 before being cut in 2005. That's why I thought 2005, bud, because he got cut in 2005.
I see.
Tim Hasselbeck, 5 starts. Best known for being Matt Hasselbeck's brother, the former Seattle starter. 1-4 over 5 starts.
What's funny is I do remember him, even though he had the 5
Yeah.
starts. I actually do remember that. I remember when he was there.
You might remember too because he's an analyst now. You always see him on the sports shows, he's
that's
talking
true.
about
That's
the NFL.
true.
Yeah, so much more known as an analyst than a football player.
And from now on, I actually do know pretty much every other one on this list except for John Beck. That'd be the only one that I don't recognize.
John Beck, yeah. We'll get that. Yeah, so Mark Brunell started 33 games across 3 years, went 15-18, almost 500. Jason Campbell was the starter for 52 games, which is a huge amount of games for a Washington quarterback in this span. He started every game for the 2008 and 2009 seasons, which that's very rare in itself. However, his record was only 20-32 before he would be sent to the Raiders. Todd Collins started 3 games in 2007 as a spot starter, and actually led the Redskins to a 3-0 record, and that got them into the playoffs in the 2007 season. He came in and finished them on a run to the playoffs. He's a former Chiefs backup. You probably know this guy, Donovan McNabb, former Eagle. Big time for you guys. Paid Donovan McNabb a huge amount of money to come over, and he was the quarterback for the first year of Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan. So Kyle's offense couldn't even help Donovan. He started 13 games, went 5.
You mean Mike's offense, right?
Yeah.
Or was Kyle the offensive coordinator?
Kyle was the OC, yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Donovan threw 14 touchdowns, 15 picks, but it was at a point in his career where he was pretty washed up, and he didn't play football again after that. Next season,
yeah, no shit, he shouldn't.
Yeah. Next year, they trotted out former Super Bowl appearing quarterback Rex Grossman, who a lot of people debate whether Rex Grossman might be the worst quarterback to ever start in a Super Bowl. Rex Grossman over 16 starts went 6-10. John Beck started 3 games. You mentioned not knowing him. He was 0-3.
Yep.
Nothing memorable there.
That's why I don't know him, probably.
Kyle Shanahan
says
he's a good coach. John Beck. Go ahead.
Oh, does it? I was saying, and then we got the big 2012 Robert Griffin III, when all of us thought things were going to turn around and our decades of shit would end,
Finally
and then
like
it didn't.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And then Mike Shanahan just ruined his knee.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Shanahan, Dan Snyder, RG3 himself, or who I think there's multiple parties to blame.
I mean, yeah, there's numerous parties to blame there, but when the 22-year-old rookie quarterback wants to start on a fucked up knee, there needs to be somebody in that organization to say, No. You need to sit on the bench. Like it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's the playoffs or not. Like
And I'll say this forever, like they had Kirk Cousins as their backup at the time. So it's not like you had somebody that couldn't come in and play. He didn't need to start that next game. I
no,
mean,
he did not. Absolutely not.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that will forever piss me off. And then Kirk Cousins followed him after that and had the
yep.
most starts of any Washington
Yeah,
quarterback.
he's and he was
Well, for since '99.
yeah, exactly. And this is what we've been because we wanted to do something comparable with the Browns segment we did. By the way, if you didn't see it, go back and watch that because we did similar comparing the Browns since they came into the league. That's why we did 99 for this as well. But yeah, Kirk Cousins started 57 games, went just a hair above, just a hair below 500 with 26, 30, and 1 as his record. Colt McCoy started 7 games, and unfortunately did not have the same magic he had with Washington that he had with Arizona last year. He was 1-6.
No, not at all. And then we got a glimmer of hope with Alex Smith.
Yeah,
16 starts,
glimmer.
11-5 record until he got his just life fucking ruined and his leg
Yeah.
broken. I mean, I'm being dramatic, but still, like that's just that whole thing. Terrible. But even after his injury, and he comes back and he still managed to win. I think he was was he 6-1 after he came back or something crazy like that?
Yeah. So he was 6-4 when he left originally, and then 5-1 when he came back. Yeah.
5-1. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Which is just amazing.
Yeah, so
He'll forever
11-5.
be one of my favorites.
Yeah, for sure. And he was 11-5 overall. So I think so far we've gone through, and him, Brad Johnson, and Todd Collins. And Todd Collins only had 3 starts, so you can't get too excited about that.
Can't
Josh
really count
Johnson
that.
came in, started 3 games, went 1-2. This was the season where Alex got injured after the 10th game, so they had to basically fill in Josh Johnson and Mark Sanchez. Mark Sanchez, the best known for the butt fumble with the Jets.
Yep.
Yeah, he started 1 game with Washington, went 0-1, but he'll forever be known as a Washington starting quarterback, entrenched in the legacy. Case Keenum, starting 8 games, going 1-7. Kyle Allen made 4 starts. This next guy.
Fuck this next guy. Although I noticed you skipped somebody there on the list.
Did I?
Someone who sucks fucking big time. I mean,
wow! I didn't intend to.
I thought you did it on purpose. I'm sitting here laughing about it. I'm like, did you just skip it on purpose?
No. I guess I did forget Dwayne Haskins' unnotable 13 starts, where he was 3-10, and then released after a season and a half into his 4-year deal. Ron just had enough of that. He's like, man, this is just not working out.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
This kid does not care.
Yeah.
Like,
reports of that still going on in Pittsburgh.
I'm sure it is. I can't believe they picked him up.
Oh, what's
but
going
yeah,
on?
I thought you had. I thought you glazed over that on purpose at
What's
first.
going on with the game? Who cares? I got TikTok to hit up.
I got my girlfriend needs to knock my tooth out. Was that him? Was that? Am I
that
right?
was, I think.
That was him. Okay, I think it was.
Oh wow. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you left off of Kyle Allen, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then look at this: Taylor Heineke, 15 starts, 7-8.
Yeah, he was almost.
That is better than every other quarterback on this list, except for Alex Smith, and I mean you can say Todd Collins, I guess.
Brad Johnson, baby. Brad Johnson.
And Brad
17
Johnson.
and 10.
So that's crazy, but yeah, and then Garrett Gilbert, which I don't even know why the fuck we need to mention that one.
And before that, you've got to go back to the days of like Darrell Williams and Mark Rippon and Joey T to get really like consistent. And Joe Theismann was really the last guy that started a lot of games because even when they were winning those Super Bowls, they were going between. It was Williams 1 year, Mark Rippon 1. So it's like they were always changing quarterbacks. It's like,
and then Doug Williams, it was very I mean, we've never really had a strong franchise quarterback. Even with Theismann and the people we did have, and Doug Williams, they were never. Doug Williams was not a franchise quarterback,
And the reason
Joe Theismann would probably be the biggest argument for one that we would have. And
Sonny
then
Jurgensen,
outside of him,
if you really want to go back,
if you want to go back that far, but man, I'm just, I'm 31, dude. I don't have any connection to that far back, so it just doesn't mean much to me.
Hopping in the DeLorean and going back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they used to be the the Boston Braves in 1930. I don't give a shit what was happening in 1932, honestly. Like, I'm glad they've existed that long, but I don't remember that.
There was a
You know, it's
depression.
like
There was a depression
even
happening
I
back
can,
then.
like Joe Theismann in the 70s, and that I can watch videos on that and hear about it from parents and people who actually saw it. But when you get too
Yeah,
far back, it just gets to a point where it's like it's hard to identify with it.
yeah, that's true. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But
But
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
that's
the reason we brought that up is because I think that maybe now there's some hope. Maybe now with the arm talent and the ability and the potential upside of Wentz, this is potentially a guy with the youth on his side too, being 29 years old. He could be the starter for the next 6, 7, 8 seasons, 9 seasons. So I mean, if all works out, so we'll have
yeah, I'm
to.
definitely not going to get that far into it. I mean, there's an upside, but I hope he sticks around if he's good. But given the past decade, 2 decades, I don't really expect it to be the case. But I'd like to be optimistic and hope it'll turn out well. But until I see something happen after the last few years of getting overly optimistic, I am not letting that happen again.
Yeah,
I am just I'm gonna
understandable.
take things as the way they are, and like I hope he does well, and if he doesn't, I'm not gonna be super bent out of shape about it.
It's probably a solid approach, but I mean, they should be pretty good. We'll have to see. I'm excited to see what happens in the draft at 11.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. To see where the team's going to be at after all the free agency and the draft. At
Yeah,
that point, better to make more conclusions. But even then, last, off season, I was super excited. Oh my God, the team looks so great. We're going to do so well. And then, we fell flat. So
yeah.
I'm not letting that happen again.
It's a solid approach. Don't want to get yourself too excited, and always things like fucking that are unforeseen could happen too, which are always a pain in the ass.
Yep, yep. So yeah, I've definitely learned it's better just to keep your expectations low and either be, oh, we lost, fuck it. Or you can be really excited because it turned out a lot better than you expected it to be. Like, I don't know. Cautious optimism. That's the way of the Washington fan. Cautious optimism.
Gosh,
You don't just go all in on optimism because you're gonna get fucked. You gotta be careful with it. But yeah, that's all we have for you this week. Really wasn't a whole lot of news. That's why we decided to just cover this
yeah,
quarterback segment.
it's a fun segment.
I'm sure more stuff will develop over the next week, and we will cover that as well.
Absolutely.
And also remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content.